Good evening all, it's Hugo Monye here for a very special Instagram live edition. I'll shortly be joined by Mike Brown. Hey, yeah, get in touch, let us know that you're here. Great to have you all with us tonight. I'll just give it a couple of minutes just to make sure that you all get yourself on here. Oh, where's Mike Brown? Just tried to add me, so I'm just going to get my live. He should be here very shortly. I hope you're all keeping very well. So this weekend was... there he is.
I've come dressed for the occasion.
You certainly have, mate.
Just so everyone can see it's the legitimate.
Mate, get that frame. Aviva Premiership final. Harlequins against Leicester Tigers. 2012 on the 26th of May.
There you go. I dug it out. I couldn't quite find the medal, but I thought that might be too much anway. So,
mate, fair play.
I've just gone with the shirt.
Is that the one that you played in, or is that your second?
It is,
one?
mate. That's the legitimate. It's the legitimate one. I think it's actually not that dirty. So,
well, you didn't do much in the game, did you? You didn't even have to wash it.
I just set up the first try. So. I just assisted for the first try.
Mate, I'll tell you what. 8 years on, it's remarkable you can still fit into it, mate. You've obviously been looking after yourself.
I know. I'm doing all right. It's a bit tight, but.
Mate, you're looking really good in it. I'm just gonna wait and just give it.
It obviously could be a better sponsor. I prefer the 3 stripes, but you know how it is. I did think about covering it,
mate. But. Well, you can see what I'm representing tonight, so I think that's fairly obvious. What I will say is, as much as Mike and I can have a chat tonight, and any of you guys or girls want to get involved and chuck some questions at us, we've already had some preloaded, so thank you to everyone that's got in touch, and we'll try and get through as many as we can. But first of all, Mike, how's lockdown been?
Yeah. You know, being a family man, it's interesting. No, it's been okay. I can't complain. We've got a good setup here, and there's enough room for us to allow our young son to run around and let off some steam. But yeah, it's pretty full on, fitting, training, rehab, looking after Jax, the 2.5-year-old, and yeah, being on top of each other all the time. But no, it's good. How about yourself?
Yeah, it's not too bad. I mean, you have good days and you have some not so good days. But that's just the nature of the situation we're in. You know, the world we're about to get into is going to look very different to the one that we existed in a few months ago. I guess what's weird is to think that my daughter, your son, will be learning about this period at school when they grow up. It's amazing. So, but yeah, of course, for all of you that are tuning in and those of you that aren't, we just want to wish you, hope you're all staying safe, staying healthy, and not missing rugby too much. Hopefully, everyone's doing their very best to try and get it back up on our screens. It's great to see people from around the world tuning into this. A massive thank you to everyone out there. We've had some questions already sent in, so Mike, we're going to get straight into it. Of course, this weekend, 8 years ago, that's right, yes, was the Premiership final. Harlequins' first ever Premiership final. Mike and I are very lucky to be involved in that. So we're just going to reflect on what was probably one of the, if not the greatest day in my career, probably one of the same for you and for everyone else that was involved. So yeah, it's just a reflection on that 2012 final, which obviously was a brilliant day for everyone affiliated and associated to the Harlequins club. We've had Louis Davies on Instagram and said, what were your expectations at the start of the 2011-2012 season?
Yeah, I think every year as a squad you always have your goals, and one of them for everyone is to go and win things, especially the Premiership. That's our bread and butter. That's what we work for week in, week out, to win. So we obviously had that goal. We felt we had good momentum coming off the year before when we won the Amlin. We had a good culture, good set of lads, good mix of younger guys like myself at the time, the older guys like you, Hugo. No, you were kind of in the middle, but you know, the older experienced guys like Minty and Nick Evans, people like that, with international experience as well. So we had a good blend, good culture. So we had, we were confident, and that's what made us good as a team. We were confident and believed in the style that we had. And I think once you get into the season and play a few games and things start going your well and you start gaining momentum, that's when that belief kicks in even more and more and more, and you just roll on from there. And we just had such a good start to the season.
We did have a great start to the season, didn't we?
Yeah.
And
12, was it? 12 on the bounce or something?
Something like that.
Yeah.
We set a Premiership record, I'm pretty sure. But I remember it was off the back of the World Cup, and there was obvious disappointment. Like, I didn't go to World Cup. Danny bust his toe, didn't he, in the last warm-up game, didn't go to the World Cup. Robert didn't go to World Cup. So for me, I came into season really hungry and actually a little bit hurt and wanted to prove people wrong. And it's quite nice. Hi, Lorna Bell, just a massive, hello. She's from Middlesex Hospital, so got to just say a massive shout out to all our NHS staff and key workers. You're all doing an amazing job. But yeah, I came into that season a little bit angry, a little bit hurt, a bit disappointed. And yeah, like I said, I wanted to, prove a few people wrong. And I think that really showed, in especially that opening part, like you said, that those 10 games or 12 games, whatever it was, that we went unbeaten. And off the back of the season before, where we'd won the Amlin Cup, and that was our first major trophy as a group of players together. Oh, Charlie Walker.
Charlie Walker, go on.
Hey, mate, I wonder whereabouts. Where is he in the world? Come back to the Prem, Charlie, we need you.
I wonder how his lid's getting on, if it's fallen off yet. It's a bit windy today, actually. It might have flown off again.
It is seriously windy. I'll tell you what, that roof would not last in these conditions today, that's for sure. That thatched roof be right off. So yeah, it was. I think the club, the squad, was in a really good position. Next question from Jacob Ingold from Twitter. What was the week like building up to the final of the Premiership? Oh, JJ's here.
Oh God.
We'll talk about you in a minute, mate.
What was the build-up like? I feel like it was just the same as most weeks leading up to the end.
You lot went to Abu Dhabi the week before.
Well, did you not go?
No, I was injured. I had to stay
you have a bad
behind.
back again, did you?
I was stuck at Surrey Sports Park. You lot jetted off to 35 degrees and staying whatever lush hotel.
That was 2 weeks before, wasn't it? With 2 weeks before we went to Abu Dhabi because we didn't have a game that weekend. Was that the European weekend? So
that's right, yeah. So I was stuck back at home doing physio.
You obviously got the weather forecast wrong. you usually only dodge the dodgy weather forecast. So
that's true.
You obviously looked at the wrong Abu Dhabi or something. Yeah, that was a class trip. Like we got flogged on our fitness and things like that, but off the field it was class. Like we went to the water park, we had a good time. And it was boiling hot there, which actually in the end helped us.
Kerry James, he's online.
Is he on there as well?
Yeah, the Duke.
Yeah, so that actually helped us, the heat, because it was so hot on the day of the final. I think it acclimatized us a little bit, but it was so hot in Abu Dhabi for our training session. I remember Ollie Cohn wetting himself during one of the fitness sessions because he was exhausted.
He wet himself?
Yeah, he wet himself.
Hang on. You can't just slide that into conversation.
So
during the fitness session out in Abu Dhabi in preparation for the Prem final, he wet himself.
Yeah, his fitness was that bad.
A grown man.
Do you remember the old Heine Mullers or whatever they're called?
Yeah.
So we were doing them, and it was so hot, like it was ridiculous. he was so exhausted. He was just like, his little shuffle when he's that exhausted. Yeah. He shuffled on it afterwards. He was like saying how he had no control over his body. He just wet himself, and there was just one bit of shade which was made by the post, and he was just lying in that shade just like that, trying to cool down.
But we've all done hard fitness, in our careers. But I've never wet myself. Well, there's an exclusive for you there. Thanks for joining in.
So, but I think it helped us in the end because it acclimatised us to the final, which was also an unbelievably hot day. Right. But apart from that, I can't really remember much of the build-up of the week when we were just back in England. I think it was just as normal. We were just confident.
Mate, extraordinary measures to try and cool yourself down. I mean, I'm sorry to labour the point, but, an ice towel, just a sip of water, whatever it is. But, hey, each to their own. Okay, friends of the Stoop on Twitter have got in touch as well, and they said, what were your emotions when you saw the amount of supporters lining the route from the Stoop to the big Stoop?
Oh, yeah, that was incredible. Like, if you ask any player, It's so hard to put into words. I think it first dawns on you the magnitude and the size of the event and what you could potentially achieve when you see that. You know, the first time we see all those supporters when we leave in the Stoop change room, and they're just lined the whole street all the way from there over the road, over the bridge, and then across to Twickenham. Just literally a sea of the multicoloured jerseys and flags. That was incredible. Like I don't think I'd ever get that feeling again of how good it was and how you felt the importance of that occasion to the supporters. How that sort of pushed us on to start well, and we did start well. And I think that was one of the reasons why we started so well, because of that entrance to Twickenham and the support that we were shown that day.
Mate, it was amazing. I remember because we were sat in a team meeting, weren't we?
Yeah.
I forgot what stand it is now. I think it's the West Stand, East Stand, whatever it was. We sat there, and then you walked out, and I was just amazed. I was absolutely amazed. Whoever orchestrated that, like, tip my hat to you, because that was incredible. Just set the tone for the day. Like you said, to see all the shirts, to see the flags. I had to put my headphones in because it was actually quite emotional. It was our first ever Premiership final. Worked so hard as a team, you know. It's a long old season, long old slog from September all the way through to May, and you've only got one shot at it. And it was Harlequins' first ever Prem final. So I put my headphones in, not because I had disrespect for the fans, but I felt if I allowed myself to wallow in that emotion, I'd have just peaked way too quickly before the game. But I mean, to pave away from us, like you said, out of the changing room, through the car park, over the bridge, and like, it's beautiful when you walk over the A316, you can see Twickenham. You start to get those butterflies, those emotions. You go through the Gold Lion Gate, and you're like, I mean, it was the perfect day in terms of the way we wanted to play, the sunshine, you lot being in Abu Dhabi, then that as extra. That's probably one of the most emotional pre-matches I'd ever been involved in the build-up to any match. Tommy Fuller, he's online. What's he saying? Bowerbank Tours, definitely. Oh gosh, what's he on about? Anyway,
if Bowerbank had organised that, there would be no one there.
Yeah, 100%. If Bowerbank organised that, we'd have ended up at Plymouth Albion. And missed the match.
I think on that as well, like, it was the fact that it felt like all those supporters from the start actually followed us up back to the Stoop afterwards as well. And we all stood on the pitch when Minty was giving his song, his sing song, and we were all sat sort of up in the stands looking at that. So the whole day was just perfect, wasn't it? Like, the way it finished with that as well. Like, it just felt like they'd all come from the start of the game, seen us over to the other side, support us all the way through the game, and then, you know, celebrated with us afterwards. It was just perfect.
Yeah, it was class. Darryl Keane, I can see. Massive shout out to you. Thank you for joining us. George Hitman, what quality surname that is. Hitman is from Facebook. He said, me and my dad were at the Stoop after the game. What did it feel like when we all sang the mighty Quins?
Oh, it was incredible. That was a bit with Minty and doing his
good.
Bit. Oh, so good. He named like all of the players for us, all of their players. In his song, it was class. Like, I had my family and friends in that crowd as well. So just to share that moment with so many people, you see how special it is and how big it is for everyone. Like you said, it's a long old slog through the season, and all those people in the crowd watching on TV, they've been through that slog with you, the ups and downs. So to see the smile on their faces, to walk out with a trophy, to celebrate with them, to talk to them after the game when you're walking back over to the Stoop. I was one of the last over because I had a flipping drug test afterwards, didn't I? Absolutely shocking. Oh, honestly, yeah, it was awful. So I sat in there with George Ford. He's not the doesn't like conversation at the best of times, does he? So he was obviously fuming from the game. So there was no chat going on. I was just wanting to get in with the lads and buzzing off the win with my medal on, sat there like, oh, hurry up, trying to go to the toilet. So I was one of the last over. So yeah, I got to talk to a few supporters and hear how special it was for them. So it was incredible.
Mate, at least you actually went and used the bathroom at an appropriate time, unlike Ollie, who went 2 weeks previous. But let's move on from that. Charlie Ray Wilson, once again off Instagram. Oh no, we've just done that, sorry. But yeah, brilliant to come back to the stoop. That was amazing. That was broke because we had
Yeah.
thousands of people on the pitch. Grounds would have
Yeah.
been fuming, but I think everyone didn't really care at that moment. But it was pretty class. Zabo Man, Ando, and Longmore 11. We're probably talking about it right now, but I'll ask the
Yeah.
question: what's your favourite moment at Quins? Your favourite moment at Quins?
Yeah, it's obviously got to be that because that, like I said, it's the bread and butter. What you work so hard for all season. Everyone wants to win it. We've done it, so yeah, that and the Amlin as well, because I feel like the Amlin's so special. Because for me, it was my first major trophy as a first team Harlequin. It was the first trophy for a lot of us together, and I think it also gave us that momentum and kicked us on for bigger things like we're talking about now. So that you can't underestimate the importance of the Amlin as well. So, but yeah, Premiership is by far.
Yeah, see, the Premiership's the holy grail. That's the dream. But
Yeah.
people, you've rightly said it, you can't underestimate the Amlin because we've been together for a few years, new tutelage, new coaches with Conor O'Shea, put a lot of trust in us and changed the way we play. That's where we adopted this Quinn style. So to win that Amlin, not just to win it, but in the way in which we won it, Camacho in the corner, Nick Evans with the conversion, that for us, or for me at least, solidified that our game works. And then to have tangible evidence at the end of the season, I just thought you can't underestimate what that did for us as a group of players. That was massive. And yeah, I mean, it's kind of not funny at all, but in 2004, I played in the Amlin Cup final then. It was Jason Leonard's last game. And I remember after winning that, we're like, right, this is springboard to next season. Next season, we got relegated. And so to then win the Amlin in 2011 and properly use it as a springboard to propel ourselves to then becoming the best team in England and doing it in the way in which we did, it was class. Like, I don't care. I mean, there's obviously been other successful teams in the Premiership since then, but when you look at squads and you look at players, I think it's a fairly even kill. Everyone's got decent coaches, everyone's fit and all the rest of it. But I know lots of people talk about, in a football sense, the class of 92, is it?
Yeah.
Man United?
Yeah.
With your Nicky Butts and your Scholes and your Beckhams and your Nevilles and all of that, how they all grew up together. I felt 2012, that was our class, that was our moment, because we'd all grown up together, come through the academy, shared some of the dark times, the bad times, and then to get to the top of the mountain, to reach our Everest in that manner was so special. And
yeah,
there's one thing we were never going to get beaten on, and that was like our camaraderie, our togetherness. I just felt we had such a brilliant culture. We didn't do everything perfect, right? But in terms of our togetherness, like no one could beat that, and we felt no one could top that. And we had so much confidence. So for me, that's why it was so special. Not just having the medal around your neck, not just lifting the trophy, but looking around the change room, like, mate, I've known you all your Harlequins life, do you know what I mean? So to achieve stuff with the likes of you and Danny and Geordie and George Lowe, and just to name a few that had all come together, grown up, English qualified, 97% I think of that squad as English qualified, was unbelievable. We've had loads of questions. You've had some questions in as well, haven't you, Brady?
Yes. Do you want to do these ones that are coming in live, or do you want to just do the ones that we already have?
Yeah, well, should we flick through? I'm just going to go down. Sam Evans, he says, hope you're doing well after the op now, Mike. Can't wait to get back to the studio. I thought Quins were back to training this week. Anyway, he's wishing you well, which is great.
Yeah. I saw one is asking who'd win in the race between you and I. I'm just thinking I'm the only one that has to do speed training, so you work it out. Obviously you. Yeah. If I could beat Ugo, I definitely wouldn't be paying for extra speed training. Don't worry about
that. But Samuel Sutton, MFC, says, "Can I have your shirt?" I don't think he's talking about my T-shirt. Can he have your shirt, Brady?
What's this one? Absolutely not. No way. This is staying with me. It took me about 2 hours to find it in the boxes in the back. So No, so this is a special on this. I'm
It
keeping it.
certainly is.
Still fits as well. So
Still fits, mate. Still tight around your guns, which is the most important thing, of course.
exactly opposite.
Matthew H says, do you miss the early days of your careers playing on Monday nights at Inver Court?
Oh, they were. Do you know what they were special though? Monday nights. They were a good crack. Sometimes you turn up and it's cold. It's a Monday night. You want to be playing for the first team, but you could have such a good crack with some of the young lads. Myself, Geordie, all playing in that. Danny Kerr, you never played in that probably.
I played a few second team matches, not many.
It's far too grassroots for you, that is.
I'll behave, mate. We all started on the same path, mate. We all started.
You never played second team. You never started in the second team. There's no way.
I did. I played a few second team matches.
No, we won the A-League a couple of times, so we did all right. But no, they were good. They were good cracks.
I wasn't.
We were good. Yeah, you wouldn't know because you never came to watch either. So you never came to support.
I did. I was always there, mate. I was there. You can ask anyone. Sam Evans, he says, "Can you give the Grasshoppers Rugby Club a shout out?" Of course, there's your shout out. Oh, Johnny Hogg's involved. To tell you what, Johnny Hogg.
What's he saying?
I don't know who's managing that account. If that's Ollie Cohn, you should have been there 10 minutes ago because we've torn you to pieces.
Explain yourself, Ollie Cohn.
Exactly.
Explain yourself.
I will just put a massive shout out to Johnny Hogg because they're doing incredible things in the community. Everyone's missing rugby. They've been at their local hospital near Bristol or in Bristol, giving up 10,000 bacon or sausage sandwiches to the NHS and key workers. And they smashed that. I think it was last week or the week before. They're now trying to give away 20,000 by the end of lockdown. So a huge shout out to Johnny Hogg for that. So amazing work.
Is it Ollie Cohn that's doing this account now? Because
I'm not sure. If it's Ollie, 16,500 after today. So they'll smash. 20,000. But just, do you know what? Giving away all those free sandwiches, Mike and I wouldn't mind just a little care pack as well, would we? That'd be quite nice.
I'm yet to
it is Quins. Okay, it's Ollie. Okay, Ollie, as you're there, stay there. We're going to go back to Abu Dhabi in preparation for the Prem final. Brownie, just talk us through the fitness and how Ollie Cohn, some of the larger men, coped in the heat.
So I want Ollie to explain why he urinated on himself after the Heine Muller fitness session. I understand it was hot. See, look, he knows what I'm talking about. See, he knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, the pitch wasn't that far away from the toilet. I know it was a hard session, but, there's no excuse for that, is there?
You're a disgrace. Let's move it on. Okay, Yeti16 says, Mike, thoughts on the impending arrival of Esther Hazen? He is a unit.
Yeah, I played against him 1 or 2 times, and every time I've looked over at their back line, I'm like, why is there a back rower stood at centre, and then he's got 12 on his back. Honestly, he's a beast. So he'd be great for us. Along with our other centres, though, we've got some brilliant centres who unfortunately we've missed this year. March, Taps, Sis for a bit of injury. We're obviously losing him at the end of this season, whenever that is. But we're blessed with our centres, so it's going to be a good battle. Paulie, he's been brilliant when he's come on at the back end of the season with his ball carries. James Lang brings a different dimension with his kicking game and his passing, and he's also a strong ball carrier as well. So I think that's that when we're back playing, whenever that is going to be definitely a strength of ours with the variety that we have in the centres now, and the world class players we've got. So.
Yeah, quality signing. Harlequin amateurs, they're online. Hey guys, and they just asked for a shout out for running and cycling. 3,451 kilometres in 2 weeks, raising money for NHS workers. That's unbelievable. Outstanding work by you. So congratulations to you. Brad, have you got any questions there, mate?
Yeah. So I've got one from Two Travelling Bears. How did you feel when the Stoop would roar, "Ooh, go"?
Mate, it was class. It's, I think, especially when you're tired, it just gives you such a big lift. It was obviously pretty special. I remember remember my 30th birthday, which was what, a couple of years ago now. When I was playing at the Stoop, and they all like chanted that and then sang me happy birthday. I think we're playing against Bath, I ended up scoring. So yeah, those moments are pretty special. Obviously they're gone now, but yeah, massive thank you to all the fans that would certainly do that. So that was really, really kind.
I've got another one from Hugo Robertson. I think that's how he said it. What was the biggest challenge in your career and how did you overcome it?
Just injuries. They're the most frustrating thing. The one thing you want to do as a professional is play rugby. And then when you're injured and you're slightly isolated away from the rest of the guys, you're missing out on all that fun and being part of a team. So, and it actually just stunts your progress to a certain extent. But I try to get in the mindset of every injury gave you an opportunity to work on something else, whether it's strength or fitness or mobility or whatever it might be. So unfortunately, I had quite a few injuries during my career, so I missed out on a lot of game time. But yeah, that was probably the biggest frustration. But yeah,
Probably
it's just something
that time you were in Lammy's house. Was it Lammy's house, lying on the floor for a week with your back?
mate. So I was 25.
Tell us about that.
25. We were doing this, mate. So it's 25. We're doing a sprint training session, weren't we? So at Roehampton, just warming up, maybe 50% running, tried to accelerate, hit the deck, couldn't stand up, couldn't get up. Don't know what was wrong. I was like, oh my gosh, like something's bad's happened. So I had to like be lifted up and carted into the back of one of the lads' cars to come back for physio, and I couldn't stand up. So anyway, long story short, I couldn't go home because I lived on the first floor. I had an apartment on the first floor, so I couldn't go home. So I ended up in Mark Lambert's house, which is just up the road, and slept and lay on his floor for 3 days. Couldn't physically get up to use the bathroom, anything. That was dark. So, you know, I think when you're in moments like that, it's actually not about returning to rugby. It's like, how can I get back up on my feet and walk again? So that, I mean, especially mid-20s when you're meant to be in the peak, next minute you can't even walk. That wasn't great. But yeah, Sam Evans has rightly pointed out, Lammy is another legend. He certainly is. Granny,
are you sure it was? Are you sure it wasn't because we had Newcastle away that weekend and it was forecast for bad weather? That's the rumour. I don't know.
Bad weather Friday night, long trip home. Yeah, back's gone again. Got a question from Rob_M4C.
Sorry, go on.
Am I gone?
Yeah, I'm just going to give a shout out to Nigel Tribe. Wish best wishes to him because he's just overcome coronavirus. So best wishes to him, and he's battling dementia as well. So good on him, and hopefully he's on the mend and taking care.
Yeah, good on you, mate. Obviously, everyone in the Harlequins and the extended rugby family wish you all the best, mate. So good luck. Hope you're staying safe. Question
have you seen that comment there? How many houses would it take to tempt you to Surrey? Oops, do you want to answer that, mate?
Well, Mike, considering I'm on the official Harlequins Instagram, I will not be entering into any sort of conversation. If this is my Instagram, could be a slightly different conversation, but we'll park it there and we'll move on. Rob_M4C from Instagram says, how did you become a fullback? Good question.
That is a good question. And how I became a fullback. At the age of 16, I moved to a sixth form college in Winchester. I live in Salisbury, so it's about half an hour journey. I moved there because it was, quite... Peter Simmons, yeah.
Right, we used to beat them every year,
not when I was there. We never lost you, but anyway. I moved there because it was relatively decent for rugby and also okay for education. Not that it helped me that much, but... So I moved there and the rugby coach was a guy called Mike Marchant, who's Joe Marchant's dad. And I went there as a fly half, mainly a running fly half rather than a passing fly half. Bit of a shock, but...
backline wouldn't see any ball.
Yeah, pretty much one out, me trucking out. But so it's Joe Marchant's dad, and he said to play fullback. I didn't really want to, but I tried it, and the rest is history. And so I owe a lot of my career to Joe Marchant's dad. which is an interesting story, I guess.
Mate, he was a big player in the Hampshire scenes. I've known Joe Marchant's dad since, I think,
Yeah,
16. I played like Hampshire under-17s, and he was involved there. And it was amazing, actually. I saw him up at Newcastle before the World Cup when Joe played and he scored, and it was like such a nice moment, obviously, for him and all his
yeah,
family. So big shout out to March's dad. Just get your boy
yeah,
on a plane and get him back home, all right? Because
yeah. He's known as Muna,
your
so
lad's got some silverware to throw with.
big shout out to Muna. You know, I owe him a lot. He's a great bloke as well. And obviously moving me to fullback, so he obviously knows a thing or two. Not that I wanted to at the time. So yeah, shout out to him.
Another question from Cameron Murray. Actually, before I get onto that, just a quick one from 1205 CLG. Brownie, can't wait to see you back at the stoop. There's an old boy who sits behind us in a DHL stand who growls, "Come on, Brownie," every time you get the ball. We miss hearing it, mate. The guys, they want you back. Actually, let's just get a quick update. How are you with your injury?
Yeah, it's progressing well. Obviously, you have ups and downs throughout the process of injury, especially long-term ones. But yeah, it's going well. I've just been back into some decent, significant running for the last 2 weeks. So as long as that keeps progressing, that's good, which it is at the moment. My strength's nearly back to where it was as well, in terms of the weights and things like that. So the next thing for me is a few more weeks of straight line running, just increasing the speed and the distance, and then move to some offline running. Do that for a few more weeks, and then I can start getting back into the rugby stuff. So hopefully we can, all get back into rugby soon, whenever it's safe and good for everyone to do that, because I'm desperate to be back with the lads. So yeah, it's progressing well at the moment. So just keep going and keep working hard.
Yeah, I had another couple of, Marcus Smith's online. Come on, the Quins, go on the boy, the
Here he
future,
is.
the present and the future. Harry Batts has asked me, did I retire too early? More left in the tank. I could have carried on playing, I think, actually. I reckon I had a year, maybe 2 years left in me, but
The BT
I don't know.
cash pulled you away. When you're getting that much cash for BT, you don't need to play rugby anymore. Good decision.
Yeah, yeah, right. No, I'd such a. I loved my time at Quins, and I just felt in the previous 2 seasons before I retired, I just kept picking up niggles. I think if you want to have a successful squad, you need players that are able to play, or at least be available and fit to play 25, 30 games a season. I definitely wasn't able to do that, and I only wanted to stay at Quins if. All right, mate. I only wanted to stay at Quins if I could contribute meaningfully. I was a one club man, so I wanted to be there and give my very best. And if I didn't feel as if I could give my very best for that amount of games, then I didn't want to carry on. And I definitely didn't want to go anywhere else. I didn't want to drop league, so I was happy to retire when I did. But I actually reckon I could play now.
Yeah, you train a lot more now than you used to.
Here we go. Here we go. I had one in from Dan Davies. Hey lads, my son hopes to play for Hampshire one day. Do you have any advice for young players missing their rugby during lockdown?
Just keep practicing your skills. Get a ball in the garden. Just keep practicing your skills. There's so much you can do just on your own in the garden with a ball. Yeah, just keep practicing your skills. So when we are ready to play again, you'll be better than you were before.
Good man. Marcus, don't be putting out those cash emojis, buddy.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's rich coming from him.
I reckon in the history of
my
Premiership players, there's never been a player to have as big an increase from year 1 to year 2 as what you've had, mate. He deserves it in fairness, but fair play. But you're absolutely right with regards to the skills. I think at a moment where I think the game in England, everyone's so obsessed with just size. The one thing that will give you longevity in rugby is your skills. And if you've got a ball and if you've got a bit of space, whether it's your garden, if you don't have a garden, go to a local park or whatever, just go out, just practice your catching, your passing, your kicking. They're the things that make you the very best players. You see the players at the top of their game in the Premiership and International. They're the ones that do the basics really well. Catch, pass, kick and decision making. So keep practicing those, and when rugby comes back, you'll find you're a much better player for certainly honing those skills. There we go.
I see one here. Best try you ever scored. I'll ask you first, Hugo.
Best try I've ever scored.
You scored. I guess you've scored so many, haven't you?
It's hard to narrow it down just to one. I don't know. I mean, the most special one is obviously the one for Lions. That third test one, that was, you know, not only in Ellis Park, like such a historic stadium, third test, bit of redemption for myself and pride put back into the jersey for the Lions. It was amazing, yeah, and to be able to enjoy that moment and celebrate it with your teammates and the crowd that we had there was unreal. But then from a Harlequins perspective, like my last game to score, just to score a try and finish off. My mum, my family, my wife was in the crowd, so that was an amazing way to sign off from my career. Brownie, for you?
Yeah, it's a hard one. I think any time you score for England, that's special. Probably my first try for England. I think that was against France. That was special. It's easier to say one of the best tries I've been involved in. I think that would have been England versus Ireland when it was Robbo offloading to me up the middle, and then me offloading to Danny. Just I think because it was us three together, the fact that we were playing against Ireland with Brian O'Driscoll, Paul O'Connell, with such a young English team at the time, doing it at Twickenham, Six Nations, all those things, you know, that always sticks out when I think of tries. So sometimes you don't have to score them, but just being involved in them is special. And then just seeing Danny scampering over, not getting caught by Brian Driscoll, it was great.
That was class, to be fair. Hell of a try. Question from Tom Rolt. Worst roommate on an away trip or tour?
Minty. I actually, to be fair, that's a bit harsh because I've never had him, but I would never want to have him because of the stories I've heard. I've always made sure I try and room with people that I want to room with. I've had some great roommates. So for Quins, I always roomed with Gonzo TAC first. I was with him for however long he was at Quins, so 2 or 3 years. And then when he left, I was in with George Lowe for 2 or 3 years. Both great roommates, complemented each other very well. Roomed with you a couple of times. You're all right. You just like order room service at dodgy hours.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've just heard stories about Minty. You've roomed with him, haven't you? It's green tea, and all that sort of stuff.
I roomed with him for like 2 Six Nations. Six Nations long. You know, we're talking.
Yeah, that's a long shit.
We camp 2 months, and he's a brilliant roommate. His hygiene's probably not his strongest point. But I remember before the 2011 World Cup, we had the whole summer together. We roomed together, and he said to me, "Hughes, I'm going to be in the best shape of my life." I was like, "Yeah, fair play. Like you want to be. It's England. It's the World Cup." So he set his alarm every morning at 6 o'clock to do a fat burner, to get on a bike, to do a cycle session. I was like, fair enough. It's early. Doesn't feel like early now when you've got 2 kids. You're always up at 6 o'clock. But back then, 6 o'clock his alarm went every day. Day one, alarm went, I'm awake. He's like, oh mate, I'm knackered. I'm going to sleep. I was like, fair enough. His alarm went at 6 o'clock every day the whole summer. He'd been cut once. I was just like, just turn your alarm off. Just accept you're not going to do it.
Just tell everyone about his green tea, though.
No, I can't.
You have to. You have to.
Mate, once again, this is the official Harlequins Instagram. I can't be retelling that story on this platform. But, I mean, ask Nick Easter, slide into his DMs and ask him. But you mentioned George Lowe, and I saw you did something with Quins actually the other day, referring to the Netflix program, The Last Dance. If you've not seen it, see it. It's phenomenal. Like Michael Jordan.
I know what you're going to say.
George Lowe is most definitely our Scottie Pippen. Yeah. He, for me, was not underrated because you look at all the finals we played in, he started every single one. And if he was fit, he played 100%. but he wasn't heralded or perhaps didn't get the plaudits because we were quite lucky. We had loads of like internationals, yourself, Rob Short, Danny, Nick Evans, Nick Easter, Ollie Cohn, Joe Marler, of course. We had loads. But he was the one guy who I felt was the glue especially in our back line that did just lots of hard yards, loads of unseen work, and was such a core, valuable part of our team.
Do you know what? When I think of players that, you know, they just get on with their job, they do everything they can for the team, don't get a lot of plaudits. I think of him and Jordan Turner-Hall, the fact that they always, you know, pulled on the jersey, whether they were fit enough, carrying injuries, they always did their job to the best of their ability. They always were great on and off the field. Definitely two of my favourite Harlequins of all time. Had big impacts on my career. So yeah, those two always stick out in my mind when people, you know, talk about underrated players and, you know, don't necessarily get the limelight and put their bodies on the line for a cause. Those two were phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely class. Brian, it's really good to see. It's really good to chat. It's really nice to be able to kind of reflect and talk about that special day in 2012. Unbelievable moment for us, for a team, for the whole organisation. But also, I'm retired. I've been retired 5 years. And I think whenever you're part of a team, especially a team that I still love, and being a one-club man, the one thing you want to do is leave a legacy. So to be part of that team and go down in history as the first team to win Premiership glory for Harlequins is no one can take it away from us. So a special day, and hopefully, Mike, for you and the rest of your Harlequins teammates, you'll have many more of those days to come in the not too distant future, pal.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, that's what we're working hard for. We're all desperate to get back there again for the club, the supporters, for each other, for all the hard work the staff put in as well, over at the Stoop, and also the coaching staff and playing staff. So yeah, we are working incredibly hard, but you know, first and foremost, we need to get through this tough time, everyone together, and then rugby will come back when it's safe and ready for everyone to do that. So yeah, I hope everyone takes care. Hope you take care of going, and hopefully see you soon.
Cheers, mate. And Mike, just before we finish, obviously it is a really tough time, and everyone will be affected to different degrees. Lots of Harlequins fans have tuned in tonight because they're missing rugby and want to see you guys as much as they enjoy seeing you on Instagram. Want to see you on a pitch. Just a quick message to all the Harlequins fans out there.
A message from me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to say, for me personally, thank you for all the support you've given me over 15 years. I think nearly 16 now. The support you give to the team every weekend, rain or shine, even when Ugo doesn't turn up for the rain. The away games that everyone comes to, just all the support that you give us. You know, we massively appreciate it. Don't underestimate the impact it has on us. And like I said before, we're all working incredibly hard on and off the field as players, as staff, over at the Stoop to get this club back to these special days, so we can have more, you know, live Instagrams about those special times. So yeah, we're working hard, and we all appreciate your support so much, and just thank you, really.
Awesome. 2 travelling bears, just quickly, you would have missed it earlier on, but Mike and I, of course, gave a massive shout out to your grandfather, Nigel, who's just got over dementia and suffering from serious dementia. So sorry that you missed that, but absolutely massive shout out to you. And Mike, it's been an absolute pleasure. It's great to see that you're on the road to recovery, and hopefully see you back soon. And to all the Harlequins fans that have joined into this Instagram live, thank you for being a part of tonight. And fingers crossed, we'll see rugby soon. That was the day.
Come on, you Quins.
Day. Come on, my Quins.
Come on, you Quins.
Take care. Stay safe.
Go. Come on, you Quins.
See you soon. Take care. Cheers, mate.